Well, I actually work for OSU Extension and house primarily here out of Guernsey and Noble. And I'm an extension educator in agriculture and natural resources.
And Cliff, what is the OSU Extension's role in the Utica shale industry?
Well, we teach classes to landowners, primarily to rural landowners interested in leasing their farmland for oil and gas. We cover topics on what to expect in terms of leasing, what to expect in terms of development. We've also expanded those classes into pipelines, right-of-ways, and those kinds of items.
What's the biggest concerns that people should have with the Utica shale industry when it comes to leasing?
Having a good lease, having a good landowner-friendly type lease. And there's all kinds of leases out there, and I think landowners need to contact an attorney before they sign anything. That's their number one priority. Attend educational sessions, and if you've seen the paper lately, there's sessions being offered all throughout eastern Ohio. Landowner groups, attorney-led groups. These landowner associations are being formed as a way to get landowners to work together, perhaps be under a single lease, perhaps written by the landowner association. And as you attend these meetings as a landowner, you'll receive more educational information and be in a better position to decide what to do, whether you want to lease or not. But take your time, investigate it, and go to all the different meetings that are being offered in your area. Farm Bureau puts on a wonderful series of educational meetings as well.
Have you helped the Carroll County boom going on with Utica shale?
Yes, I've taught leasing programs for OSU Extension in Carroll County, and landowners throughout that region of the state have attended. Those were organized and hosted by Mike Hogan when he worked in that area. And we have been doing these leasing programs, at least I have in OSU Extension, for 7 years or so, a long time.
Besides the leasing, what other areas are you trying to educate, especially farmers, on?
Well, right now, I can't speak. We have a team of people at OSU Extension. They work in different areas, and they teach in different areas. So right now, what we're teaching is some of the community changes that you can expect, and there are a lot of those. We're going to be covering, our next series will be on right-of-ways, how to handle those agreements, what to be cautious of, what landowners should look for. We cover tax management. The latest thing here is landowners are receiving money. How do you handle that from a tax standpoint? So we've been covering, and I've hosted classes on it this winter. I don't teach those classes, but we have farm management specialists who do. And so we've offered a series on handling those financial concerns. And then we cover leasing. And that has been going on for quite a while because that's what's taking place now. We also have a series on what's taking place in shale plays throughout the United States. My colleague and co-worker Chris Penrose usually teaches with myself throughout the state of Ohio and covers that topic.
What are some of the things that communities can expect from the Utica shale boom?
Oh my goodness, increased traffic. If you look around the United States at these shale plays, people are going to be coming in. And last week, it was a record week for Ohio. We had 17 new well permits issued. So when you think about this, as we look out over the next few years, you're going to see wells going in an unprecedented kind of manner here. We're just going to see all the leases being tied up through well production or being held by well production. Those wells will be put in. So think about the people, the rigs, the activity, the dump trucks, the line workers, the quarry activity. You just can't imagine how that activity is going to move into your area. For counties not experiencing it yet, I work part-time in the Noble County Extension Office, which is located in the courthouse. For the past year, we have had 2 floors of our courthouse taken up with card tables like we're sitting at here today with abstract researchers, going in there looking in the deed and lease records, searching properties, checking to see if they're available to lease or not. Every parking spot around the county courthouse is taken up with people from all over the country coming into the sleepy town of Caldwell to do research on this farmland and find out if it's leasable or not. Same thing's true here in Guernsey County. Our recorder's office is swamped. There are not parking spaces downtown, and that's because of all the workers in at the recorder's office checking on leases. So that influx of business, overnight stays, restaurant activity, all that's already taking place right now. The next series will be all the workers, their families, their children. Housing's going to be at a premium. Rentals will be at a premium. Economic activity, give you an example. L&H Tractor in Caldwell, one of the co-workers there, Laverne Wentworth, for 31 years, he said the last 6 months were the best 6 months his company at L&H Tractor ever had. So we're going to see a lot of farmland owners reinvesting some of their signing bonuses back into farm equipment, and that was the case there with L&H Tractor. So we expect economic activity unprecedented.
So people need to be wise as they're spending all of their money, especially plan for the future.
I'm glad you brought that up, and that's so easily skipped over. But if you're a large landowner, and by large I mean 50 plus acres, you could be looking at a signing bonus of, and that's paid at the time you sign the lease, the agreement, just for signing the lease, in the neighborhood of $5,000 an acre to be able to lease your farmland. And that price is growing, by the way, as well records come online, and Chesapeake's will here at the end of this month, about March 31st. We'll know what some of these wells are capable of doing and producing. And with that, we'll see leases begin to grow, we expect. So we may even top that mark, and it already has in some cases. $5,000 an acre. What's that going to do to your tax bracket? Well, I can tell you that for a large property owner, it's going to bump you into the highest tax category. You may be paying state and federal tax combined at 42%. So don't make mistakes and spend that money without taking into account those taxes that you're going to have to pay.
Cliff, what else would you like to add about the Utica Shale industry or the OSU Extension Office's role in it?
Well, I hope if you've got questions and concerns about it, particularly right now as leasing activity is at its height, that you won't make any hasty decisions and that you'll attend educational sessions before you sign anything. And I would also like to remind folks that do not make assumptions. If somebody approaches you about leasing, I'd ask you, is it really about leasing? And who are you dealing with? Are you dealing with the company? Are you dealing with the landman? Are you dealing with somebody who intends on just flipping the lease? And it's unsafe to do that, because what we see now is businesses starting up to purchase your royalty. Let's say you sign a lease. I could approach you to buy your royalty. You have a lease and you could keep it, but I'm going to own the production if it ever takes place. I'm going to receive your royalty. So we see that happening as well. And not only that, but I've seen offers to sever mineral rights and create mineral deeds from farmland. So that's a new thing that's happening. Those three things are being thrown at property owners right now. So that just stresses the point that you need to know what you're signing, what you're doing, what it really is before you sign anything. I think what we're finding out is a lot of people attending the meetings, they want to participate. They're excited about it. And it's time now throughout eastern Ohio and clear over, we've done programs to central Ohio, to find out if you can lease. Is your ground free and clear? It's there for you to look at. You can go into the recorder's office, reference from your deed the lease records, and find out and trace it back to the turn of the century. In some cases, you may have to go back farther than that, but you don't want to represent your land and your resources and what you actually have to sell before your recorder's office becomes backlogged with abstract researchers. Do your homework and find out if you can be leased as a property owner.